Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I mentioned previously that I had a bunch of T-shirts that I was going to be going through and showing you some of the ones that I favored. I have a stack from when I used to work for Apple as a person in one of the retail stores in San Diego, and I was a part-time genius, although much more part-time than I would have wanted. But I'll just show you some of the shirts that I wore and talk about a few of the things that I can highlight about Apple over the years. This is the first one I remember getting. It's a gray in ballpark figure. I don't know, 2002, 2003, sometime like that. Obviously, I haven't worn it that much. But the thing on the back is what really, kicked me off, keyed me about Apple. A guy named Patrick Grant was a PR consultant, and he stated to Apple on their website, I didn't have an IT department to keep my PC running, so I got a Mac. One of the things I've discovered over the years is, the old line, Macs just work. Well, it's true. I'm currently at a school, public school. We have about 25 Macs. I would say 10 PCs and a whole bunch of Chromebooks for the students, but the 10 PCs are like 4 or 5 times the work of the 25 Macs. It's insane at times the amount of work that I need to keep those things up and running, or virus scans and things like that. And when I used to work, before I retired, I'd be gone a lot, and my wife was homeschooling our 3 little kids. I just couldn't afford to have that network down when I wasn't around. So I will admit, in the 5 or 6 years that we were homeschooling, we had one issue that I couldn't fix myself, and we didn't even have that many issues. But basically, I called Apple, and they were able to help me with it. So for 6 years, we only had one issue where we were even slightly down for a little bit of time. You can call me a fanboy. I'll admit Apple's not perfect because they have their own issues too. But I think compared to Windows, there's just not even a comparison. Okay, one of the other things I'll be going through as we look at the shirts is some of the phases of what Apple did. For a while, they were working on music and iPods. So this shirt on the back had reading, writing, and rock and roll, and just a little Apple on the front. Now this one I really like. I might be able to sell this if I ever decide to on eBay. I got this T-shirt, which has a picture of an iPod on it, the day we released the iPods. And this was May 2nd, 2003 was the night I got this T-shirt. And I kind of remember that night too. It was really fun. Apple went from version OS 9 to Mac OS 10 at a certain point, and we got this T-shirt, when that change was announced, because the operating system was put into a more streamlined and robust operating setup than it was in the past. And I just really liked that and some of the other things about it. And I'll admit, this one, you can probably tell I've cut the sleeves off, and I use it as a workout T-shirt. And I'll admit, sometimes Apple had big apples on the front, sometimes not, and you'll see that. And this T-shirt we got when the iPod Nano was released, which was one of I think the first ones that had a video component to it, where you could watch either a video, music video, MTV style, or you could watch something off YouTube. I guess I'm not really sure YouTube was up and running at that point, but you could do it if you wanted to. And we had a little video for everyone on the front. And of course, I was there when the iPhone came out. And trust me, that was a crazy night. I worked from, and I was part-time, I think it was a Friday night, so I worked from, 2 to midnight. And, I'll admit, as we were selling them, every now and then we'd get one that for some reason was dead out of the box. And so we would just take it and ship it back to Apple. Well, as I was leaving at midnight that night, I heard some banging from the Genius room, and I walked past it, and these guys had a hammer and a screwdriver, and they were trying to break the screen of the iPhone, which they were unable to do. Although, quite frankly, after one particular hard hit with the hammer and the screwdriver, they popped the actual screen out, but it didn't have a scratch on it. I mean, I know it's possible because trust me, I've seen them and I have a tiny scratch on my iPhone, but that to me was very impressive. And nothing on the back of that one. Microsoft had an operating system called Vista for a while, which quite frankly had its faults, and I'll just leave it at that. But as a computer person who supported Vista at the time of my day job, it just used to drive me crazy. So we were comparing, Mac OS 10 to Vista back then. And the slogan was, "It's time to get a Mac." Okay, like I said, sometimes Apple changed where the apple was in the shirt. This one, instead of being in the big one in the center, was a small one in the upper left. And this early bird special, now taking orders for the new PowerBook G4s. Apple, early in my career, the laptops were using a chip called the G4, and we called them PowerBooks instead of MacBooks. So I was wearing this the night that those got released. And I'm thinking this one is, yeah, this is just another one. I haven't worn quite as much. The lettering's a little better. And this one is the same. Yeah, we got a lot of T-shirts when we were doing that.